Welcome to this episode of Let's Chat Live with myself, Chris, Seaball, and Bree. Hello, Bree. This is a show where we like to interview new and upcoming podcasts, learn about the show, their personalities, and so much more to come. Tonight, we're actually pretty excited, as both nerds of this, to sit down with Robert and Giancarlo of the Science Fiction Remnant. Here we go. They are a podcast of sci-fi lovers that span across books, TVs, movies, even video games, the whole medium. Bree, you want to bring them on?
Here they are.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hello. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Robert, and I'm the host of Science Fiction Remnant.
Hey, my name is Giancarlo, and I'm the co-host for Science Fiction Remnant 2. And by the way, Chris, we're nerds too.
Yeah, right? I had it stuck in my head. That word kind of just planted
We're
the
just
seed
gonna
in
get
my
along
head.
so well.
It's fine. Before it wasn't, but now it's cool to be a nerd, right?
Yeah.
Well, the first moment I read the intro because she just typed it up. So I'm like, oh no, I didn't pre-read that one.
Man, a lot of people do podcasts like over streaming, but you guys live near each other, so you guys know each other in real life. That's cool.
Yeah,
helps
and
a lot.
there's actually a story behind that.
Do tell.
Go ahead.
So I've been wanting to do this podcast forever. I'm a big sci-fi fanatic. My license plate says sci-fi for crying out loud.
That's true.
So I don't know if you noticed, there's a big difference in format when you listen to the first episode, and I was thinking of just doing it myself, and it was very scripted, and it just didn't feel right. So in the second episode, Giancarlo's he was in the process of moving to the area. So I invited him over. It's like, I do sci-fi. You want to, jump in as a guest? And he said, yeah, fine. So he joined in, and we started doing the episode. After the episode was over, that was the second episode that we did. And he said, hey, I feel chemistry here. You like it? Want to do this? And he said yes, and the rest is history.
Oh, that's so
Nice.
exciting! So you
You're
guys
lucky
both
with that.
are big sci-fi fans and got connected.
And he actually is the one that got me initiated on sci-fi. I'm the kind of guy, I like all sorts of things.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
But then he just started giving me a list of things that I should watch and stuff. And now my list has no end. And
What I like about the chemistry is that there's always, and I don't know if you notice this when you listen to the episode, there's kind of like a yin and yang.
yeah.
So
Sure.
I have some opinions and kind of bounce each other from.
That's a good contrast.
That's good.
Exactly.
It sucks when people agree all the time. So it's nice.
Exactly.
But we're happy to agree to disagree,
Mhm.
and just share our views, our ideas, our perception of what we feel about the movies and stuff.
It's a good
And
relationship.
The funny thing is that before we were doing it, we would just sit down and talk crap about movies for hours on end. And that's when you're like, we should do a podcast about this.
The podcast, the
Yes.
podcast is me and him watching a movie on the couch. So
So
those
it's-
deep
wow.
conversations, because I'm really into like science and stuff like that. And it's like, why don't we just? I actually first started looking for someone that had those types of conversations about movies and stuff like that. And after having those, I was like, Giancarlo, we should do one. I don't think there's one out there, and that's how we started. So that's basically us, just drinking whiskey and talking about.
Yep.
Well,
Pretty
you guys have
much.
a pretty nice setup. I see those little soundboards and the sound
Dampeners.
sound dampers and microphones. Did you guys have that before, or is that something you invested in later on?
We are really, really new. I'm also a geek when it comes to computer building and stuff like that. So we just got a Scarlett system. We got new mics. We got, and eventually, little by little, we can't
Yeah,
get it all at once.
By piece by piece.
Mhm.
expensive. It's an expensive hobby with all the microphones that are.
Yeah.
Well, that's the benefit
Out
of
there.
a podcast too. As long as you can fake it till you make it, even sound quality wise, for the time being, you can kind of buy your time until you have to buy stuff. Because
Yep.
I've definitely know I've heard some shows and I've known some people who nickel and dime it as much as possible, and they still sound really good. And it's because they know the software. They know, they know stupid little like I do it in the bath. Like I record in my bathroom, whatever will
The
eat that. Or,
acoustics.
The acoustic.
yeah, the acoustic or their car. They'll sit in the back of their hatch and do it.
I think
they have
the most important thing about doing this is just having the passion for it. If you don't have the passion for it,
It shows.
Yeah.
And then it just, you're not interested and no one else is interested. So that's the great thing about you guys, where you really work off of each other. I listened to the well, before I get into that, let's for someone who hasn't heard of your podcast before, why don't you do like a quick overview of what you guys mostly talk about?
Well,
on your show?
basically, we pick movies, games,
TV
shows,
books.
that we both pretty much are interested in, and we try to pick the ones that gets us to those deep conversations, and the ones that we really enjoy talking about. And basically, we just get in front of the mic and have a conversation, and we hope that our goal is to bring people into those conversations when they listen to our podcast.
It has to be the idea behind our podcast is that it is a casual conversation that it will make the listener feel engaged in our conversation as well. So in a way, we're trying to transport our listeners into the podcast with us. And we even have Discord and everything where we invite them to come over, discuss with us, give a suggestion about episodes while they think about the episodes too, so we can discuss with them. So we try to actually really relate ourselves with our listeners and make them feel part of our conversations.
That's great. That's what makes a good podcaster to me. It's like
Absolutely.
first saying your names of who you are so I can get the voice down with who is speaking, but also like engagement. That's how I found Chris Relvo from Let's Chat, and that's how I found the crews, because they engaged with me on Twitter and we started chatting. I'm like, okay, wow, you guys are pretty cool. I may listen to an episode, and it just their passion, like on live Twitter, is it just engages you into the whole podcast.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And we only have 22 episodes.
22 episodes.
So we're babies basically when it comes to this. But
It doesn't sound like it. You guys, it doesn't sound like you. Sounds like you've been doing it
Naturals.
for a while.
Oh no, but yeah, you can say that, Chris. But like, we're not pros at this, and we're not afraid to say it.
But like I said before, what drives us to this is just the passion. We really enjoy having those conversations about the topics that we discuss, or the ones that we pick to discuss.
We even have movies where we watch it and we think, okay, let's do a podcast about it. And if we don't feel like wild about it, we just say, no, that's not going to be an episode, because it has to be something that makes us feel engaged about it, so we can draw details. We don't like drawing negative commentary about something. So it has to be something that we both like, so we can actually develop on it and what we think about it.
The Time Machine.
Oh yeah, no, let's not talk about that.
Oh Lord.
Oh yeah, what are we talking about?
In a nutshell, we wanted to do an episode on the Time Machine, and I heard I got the book,
but I was sly because I didn't let you watch the 1960 version.
Yeah,
I let you watch the
new one.
The new one.
The 2002. Oh
Exactly.
man.
Yes.
Oh God. I was like, look, Robert, I don't have anything good to say to it. They didn't do justice to the book, so let's just not make an episode.
I mean,
a lot of crap about it.
Unless you did an episode about bad movies, I don't know what else.
Oh, that's cool. Do you do a lot of like, I know that Ready Player One was a book and then it was a movie. Do you guys like to compare each one, like how the book was versus the movie, or do you specifically just talk about one in your episodes?
Well, we sometimes compare because our format is mainly, when you listen to us, it's like we're invited you to our home, our couch, and just like you hear us talk in the show, is how we talk when we're watching a movie. And it takes us a long time to watch a movie, even if it's a regular movie, it's not a sci-fi movie. We pause because we have those deep conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we compare, if there's a different medium out there. like
We did that. We did that a little bit with Joe Carter, which is one of our most listened.
I was just
Yep.
gonna mention that too when you said the time machine. I blanked on the name because I've read a bunch of those books. I'm like, oh, what could have been?
Yes, yes,
That should be a
Oh,
TV.
no.
That should be a streaming series.
yeah, and we discussed that in the show. I mean,
gotta go
they
back
should
and
make it a TV show.
Gotta listen to it. Yeah, Disney. Man, it's all or nothing with them. It really is all or nothing.
Yep, yep.
Chris River wants to know what movie has taken you the longest to get through since you do a lot of side chatting.
Well, it has to be Ready Player
Ready
One.
Player One.
Over
Yeah.
7 hours. Over 7 hours watching a movie. Ready Player One.
And you
The
know,
movie's 2 hours.
we can't help it. We stop it, and you're like, oh, you know this, and and we start these conversations, and 15 minutes into it, oh, the movie. So we press play again and continue, and that's how we watch movies.
Mhm.
I was gonna say. So, how do your wives or girlfriends deal with movies with you then?
That's not
Well,
cool.
the funny thing is, his wife, she will just join us and just enjoy it with us.
Okay, because it'd be like most women. You talking to me like, all right, I'm going to the other room. The hell,
I
I'm
don't know. I'm
done.
a talker when I watch movies, and I like to know what happens in the end. So sometimes I Google it, so I know how it ends. I'm
Ooh.
that person.
Ew.
So you ruin it for yourself.
Oh, ew.
Yes, I do, and I enjoy
Oh.
it still. I just like to know what happens. And so I can't watch a movie with someone who's already watched it because I will just ask them a million questions.
His wife does that.
That's me.
And she's actually a fan. Of the
Yeah.
show.
Jeez.
Aww.
That's good because not a lot of spouses or boyfriend girlfriends listen to each other's shows, so because they don't want to know. Because who knows what's being said or like I hear you every day.
Aw.
You have your
Paul
thing.
wants to know, what do you think is the most criminally overlooked or underappreciated sci-fi movie or TV shows?
I feel like there's a bunch of those, and to some degree.
Yeah,
Movies and sleeper movies are just that. It's unappreciated, great pieces of film.
Gothica.
Yeah.
Gothica would be one. We did an episode.
Existence.
Existence, we still
we
haven't
love
done
that
it.
movie. We still haven't
Oh,
done it.
Existence.
So
Yeah,
long.
wow, that's been a long time. Yeah, that's a name
Yeah.
I haven't heard in some time.
We're gonna do an episode on that pretty soon, but
Run Lola Run that we did.
Oh,
like,
Run,
was the indie
I didn't
film.
even know that movie existed.
Run,
Was
Lola,
it?
Run.
Hold on.
Run, Lola, Run.
It's a German movie. I didn't even know it existed. It's like for what? Year 1999 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's German for you. There you go. I mean,
Yeah, I
America,
love foreign
America's
films.
sights on things like that are just kind of.
And it's a little tricky because when you watch it, the reason why we incorporated that into our show, being that our show is sci-fi, is because we always discuss the point of multiple universes.
Sure.
And that's why we brought that movie in. But the movie, even as a movie itself, I think is an icon, it's a classic.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a shame that
Okay.
I mention it to most of my friends, and they're like, "What is that?" And they had to Google it to find out what that is.
Oh no.
There's a lot of movies like that, unfortunately, overseas. Never mind sci-fi in itself. I mean, I think it's a lot, especially with nerdom kind of being such a common pop culture place these days because of comic book movies and all that. I definitely feel like there's a certain sect of those movies that are just never going to be found, even though it's sci-fi is such a big thing now. Compared to what it used, especially even comparatively what it was in the early 2000s, even it was not nearly as prevalent.
Mhm.
I'm over here watching Sci-Fi Channel, watching Farscape, and everybody's looking at me. I mentioned in school, and they're looking at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Another show you're gonna give
Have
me to
you
watch.
Have you watched
Oh.
Farscape?
Nope.
Farscape,
Okay.
Farscape, Lex.
Get it on the list.
Have you,
Oh,
did
Farscape's
you see
amazing. If you love
Critters?
anything that's from Jim Henson's company, it's made by them. All the puppetry, everything, costume, everything's made by them.
Oh yes.
So think sci-fi, but with Jim Henson.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
It's freaking nuts. It's
Yes.
it's zany. It's freaking awesome. Because it's very it's got all the it's got humor. It's got the dramatic beats. It's got everything, but at the same time, you have the quality of like, hey, this is Labyrinth. Hey, this is Dark Crystal. Hey, this is science fiction,
Yes.
like science fiction fantasy.
That's scary. The puppets and Muppets just they don't sit well with me.
There's not a lot of like puppet per se. There's like one main one, and the rest are just like the guys in costume.
Yes. I think the ship is a puppet.
Yeah, to a different degree, because it's a living ship.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like a bioorganism.
Oh, whew. like the movie. Oh gosh, yeah, not Alien, Species. She's like an organism, right?
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
a
Not even.
biomechanical. Well, then you have Lex, which is a whole other bag of tricks if you ever seen that. But
Yeah, I seen it. It's I was like,
that's like if you watch the magazine, the old magazine, it's still around Heavy Metal.
oh yes.
Think of Heavy Metal, but the sci-fi stuff out of that, but everything about it is just, to be blunt, horny, insanely over the top,
It's
just
really,
like cartoony.
it's really weird. I don't know if you've seen it. I should put an episode for you, but I was just like,
Aw.
it didn't last for me for some reason. I watched, I think, half the season 1.
Yeah, it gets better. They kind of switch gears with that show. A season or two in, they make it looks way more modernized. They cleaned it up. They changed a lot of stuff around it. The dynamics, everything looks more like Farscape in that way, but it's still like zany and Red Dwarf and just kind of bonkers.
Do you guys like the Battlestar Galactica series, like the old
Oh
one or the
my
new ones?
god. I prefer the
He's crazy about it.
yeah, I prefer the old ones, but I've seen
Uh-huh.
them all.
And
And
Galactica and all those. I haven't seen the old ones
Caprica?
yet.
Yeah,
seen them
that
all.
show he showed me that is from Battlestar Galactica. I went crazy about it. Caprica.
I
Caprica.
got so
Oh,
into
Caprica.
it.
Oh
And at
my-
the
Wildly
end, I was like,
underrated.
oh my god.
I was depressed that it didn't finish. It ended when it just got good. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, they just kind of ended it. Oh my
I
gosh.
wonder if they ever finished
I
that
even
on
play the board
comics.
games. Do you guys
Yeah.
do games too? You do video games, but
We've
do you do
done
like board
one.
games?
We've done one, and I'm actually more of a gamer in between the both of us.
Mhm.
But I mean, when we like the one we did, it was just so much fun to do because as I was playing it or he was playing it, the other one was watching. I don't know if you guys listened to it, but it's called Detroit Become Human. And I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
was
know that. I know the game.
so intense. So intense.
We
Oh,
love
yes.
board games.
It's every bit of story as it is a game.
Yeah.
Every
Best
bit.
board game. You just play for like 4 hours straight.
Oh
You're
my.
just so into it. Let's see.
Well, there's a question there. If we've seen critters, I don't know.
I surely have not, and I saw that my friend Drunken Trouble asked for it. No,
uh-huh.
brother, like I had no idea about that. We're checking it out now.
Are you not a scary movie person?
That's
Well-
some zany sci-fi skit horror type of stuff.
There's a story on that. I stay away from horror. There's only very few that I watch. Like, for example, Aliens. Is
I
it
was going to say Alien, Event Horizon.
So good.
Event Horizon.
Sphere.
Sphere, seen Sphere. But I usually I try to keep away from that, from the horror.
And it's something that I make fun of him for it because he gets overly attached to the characters. So if he's watching something where everybody just get her head chopped off, he's gonna suffer for it.
Ugh. Yeah.
That's the
Like
reason.
gory stuff. But it's like scary. Like I like to watch them on silent with all the subtitles. It's like ominous music playing, and it's more intense than.
I'm gonna
I
go
watch
out
it
and
during
say
the day.
something that is gonna get everybody. But that's the reason why I don't watch Game of Thrones. I actually read the 5 books,
Oh,
thinking that it was gonna get better and better, and by the time 5
it went the other way.
And he sure is gonna hate if you watch The Walking Dead for the same reason.
nope.
I haven't done
Yeah.
either one of those.
I gave up
yeah.
Walking Dead. I gave up.
I heard it's
I
violent.
read the comic far away, but the show I stopped like
What the hell
not
is it?
very
Girl
far.
got-
To be honest, they
killed-
made
they-
it to jail and I stopped.
One of them
Uh,
killed some little girl. I remember because she got bit or something. I can't remember now. That was the end of it. It was her and I'm blanking on names too. But yeah, the guy who rides the motorcycle. Yeah, after that I was like,
Oh,
I'm done.
Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl. Thank you. I'm spacing. After that season, I was like, I just don't care anymore.
Oh my god.
Like I just don't care. I'm tired of. I'm like I've seen enough bleakness in my life. Like this, and then I read the ending of the comic book. Like they told online, like that's good enough. Now I know.
See, you just
Yep.
do the other. Let's see.
I got halfway through. I mean, it's like Game of Thrones. I got about a season and a half, and I was done. Just first season was amazing. That was good enough for me. I like that season.
You
The
start
Walking-
something and you don't finish it.
Walking
Oh my
Dead.
gosh.
Season 1, I finished it.
Just season 1.
Yeah, and then I got bored.
Yeah,
It's like the same thing over again. Oh my gosh. Let's
Yeah,
see.
it's true. Critters is like Gremlins in that way. It's just
Yeah.
silly as hell.
That's what they look like. Actually, we're
Yeah,
checking it out now.
it's similar. It's definitely more violent than it's
Yeah.
more horror in that aspect, but it's still silly. Like it's not like Chucky where you're like, holy what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
No, it's not like that. It's more like a bunch of fur balls and a bunch of razor teeth rolling together and shredding people like piranhas.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
it's
been a long
silly. You
time
know,
since
it's
I've seen that.
or like killer clowns from space. It's like that.
That one
You know,
just
it's more
looks too
zany.
scary. So in your Ready Player One episode, you talked about heroes and how like they talked about what their hero is. What makes a hero in your guys' eyes for the sci-fi movies? Like, because the guy was an orphan and
Oh yeah, we
goes
got into that
on.
conversation.
Yes.
We kind of have slightly different views on that, but in the episode we talked about that. It's for me a hero. I had to go out and say it has to be alive at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But it cannot die because then the movie just sucks for me. But
Remember, they cannot die for him. The movie doesn't. It's not good.
but basically, he has to he has some stuff to overcome, and in the end becomes a better person for it, and in doing so helps other people. That's just basically my view
On heroes.
on heroes.
Yeah, I'm more of a anti-hero guy. Actually, I don't have a favorite hero. I have a favorite villain,
Yes. I
which is
always root for the
Joker. Everybody
villain.
that knows me knows it. It's Joker. That's my guy.
Yeah, he's like the best villain though. Like he's a genius. He's a mad genius, but like
He's
he
like
has
that
things
chaotic evil. Like he just does anything for any reason just
he
because he
doesn't
can.
care.
It's
Yeah, and
somebody
that's
you cannot get on
hilarious.
his head. You won't find it.
Yeah.
He's
He
the
But
always
opposite
like
of
finds
same
himself.
Batman.
way, I enjoy like I haven't watched till a few months ago Deadpool, and he told me I should watch it. I
Mhm.
love Deadpool. Like I love his ethics.
When he told
That's
me
what's up, man.
when he told me he hasn't watched Deadpool, so like we gotta fix this now.
Yeah.
That first movie is so good.
So that's my kind of hero. You want to call a hero Deadpool.
Deadpool. Deadpool's good. I like obviously Captain America is in the Flash or my go-tos for each universe. Let's see. We have another question. On your most recent episode of with 2001 Space Odyssey, you talked about the film score, basically everything that drives the film, characters. What other films do you think do this successfully as well?
Well, that's a very hard question because for me that movie was an icon.
Yeah.
And we discussed this in the show too. It's kind of funny, even if you have not watched this movie, you'll get glimpses of this movie in any other sci-fi movie you ever seen.
Yeah.
It's as far as score, as far as content, visual.
It's like the Beatles of sci-fi, you know, for that generation, or Led Zeppelin or something.
Yep.
Like, and everything in there. Someone stole that riff from somebody else.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
beats.
And it's funny. It's funny because he explained it to me. He had watched it when it came out. I watched it just now. I didn't even know about the movie. Some of my friends were like, "What the heck? You haven't watched it?" So I watched it, and effectively, he told me I will see that. And when I was watching the movie, I was looking at a lot of reference on movies that I had already watched. So
Sure.
he watched this
It's
at
crazy.
first, and I watched it after I had watched a bunch of movies that had stuff from it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when it happens too. You go back, you're like, what the? Oh, I gotta go back this up again. These little pieces here and there. That's why I say like movies like Interstellar just wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
100%. That movie and then the next one after that, the sequel, just wouldn't exist.
You guys talk a lot about scores and music. Do you guys have a music background at all?
Not at all. We just enjoy music.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
2001 is a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I had that soundtrack long before I ever even saw the full movie. As a kid, I had the vinyl. My somebody gave it to me.
I got the vinyl and the CD at one point, and I lost it. And I was really worried though when I showed the movie because I know, and I don't know if you agree with this, but in my experience, 2001 is that kind of movie that you either hate or love.
Oh.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
And that's apparent because when it came, and we discussed in the show, when this movie came out, people walked out of the theaters.
I didn't believe
Well,
it.
it's like the voice. The first 25 minutes there's no dialogue. It's all music.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
It's just
I was dying to see his reaction. When he was watching the movie, I'm like, okay,
the
okay.
glaze over.
There's no, oh, the movie was good. Oh, it was all right. No, you either I love this movie or dude, this movie sucks.
And I'm kind of Brie on the sense of watching the movies. I do relate to how you feel when you're watching a movie. You can ask him. I'm constantly jumping the gun and kind of developing what's going on in the movie before it happens. And most of the times I think like this is gonna happen, and effectively it happens. But it's because I am just like calculating and try to interpret what's going on in the movie
Yeah, and like kind of
along the
predict
show.
and make sure, see if you're right or not when you're predicting what's going to happen or what she should have done.
Yep.
And it's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting because we had these conversations while we watched the movie, and he will tell me something, and I try not to spoil it for him. I mean, I spoil it for everybody that listens to our show. So
Yeah.
if you listen to our show, I'm gonna say it right now, go watch it before you listen to the episode because
Mhm.
we're gonna spoil everything. But when he's
Hard not
watching when he's watching, I try not to, and he will come back and tell me, and half of the times, it's oh yeah, you're right, that's what happened. But then some of the times I don't know what to say, and I'm like, kind of.
Sometimes I hit the nail on the head, and he would just sell. I don't know, just
doesn't wanna give
just
it
not to
away.
spoil it.
Oh no. Before COVID, did you guys like going to movie theaters or do you just prefer watching movies at home?
I don't know about you, but I'm a couch potato.
Me too.
I really enjoy home, and dinner, and
Yeah.
Last movie I watched in the movies was Joker, which is not very new.
What was the last movie? I think the last movie I saw was Endgame. I think it was.
That was what I watched before Joker.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Rogue One.
Endgame was the last one. I don't have now almost 5-year-old, so I don't get, and I work. Like, I don't have time. My wife and I have opposite schedules. So going to the theater, like I had to oh, this movie's coming up. I'm going. I don't give a damn what you people say. I'm going now. I'm leaving. And that's it. And I made it happen. But that's every blue moon. And now with COVID, it's literally going to be like a millennia.
Yeah. So I guess you guys are excited about the streaming services that are like with movies coming out, like The Croods 2. They're gonna be streaming on Disney in December for its opening.
The new Bond nearly did too. Apple actually tried to buy it for a gargantuan amount of money, and they last minute decided not to.
I
Yeah,
haven't seen the Sonic movie. Did you guys see the Sonic movie?
Sonic's cute.
Oh, we gotta do an episode.
He
on
did.
that.
It's cute.
I have not watched it yet.
It's better than it. I think it is better than it deserves to be. I mean,
Okay.
for what it is.
So
I mean, it's
funny.
it's a kid. It's a video game movie. So if you know any history about video game movies, that is just a pit of despair. I mean, at the very best, it's very few.
Sega Genesis. That's for sure. I did. I played Sonic
Yeah.
the Hedgehog. For
It's
Sega Genesis.
definitely like it's
It's my
100% a kids
favorite
movie,
to play.
but it's done
so
well.
fun.
And it's Jim Carrey in his 90s form, back in the day, his Ace Ventura days and all those, just zany, off the walls, full him again. So it's nice in that
Yeah.
regards.
That's kind of refreshing. He coming back to himself.
Kind of bring that nostalgia about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your show is like perfect for people like me that want to know how things end. It's because you give all the details, and then I can watch the show and be
Some people
okay.
don't have time to watch movies either, so it actually works out really well too.
And I can warn you, sometimes we get so into our conversations that there's a couple of episodes that we don't get to the end of the movie or the show.
Mhm.
Is there like a special release after where you explain how it ends?
Well, I'm kind of hoping that, if we get enough people requesting a specific, we can do like a bonus episode or something like that. But
Or
Yeah.
put it on Patreon and so people can subscribe and be like, how does this end? I'll start messaging you. Like,
No,
why did
I'm
you
gonna have a
stop
little
the show?"
seminar explaining how this movie works.
Yes.
no kidding, right?
Yeah, what do you think makes a good film? Is it the characters? Is it like
well, we have a split opinion in there. For
there seems
me,
to be a theme.
yeah, and that's why I like our chemistry in the show, because it kind of like I keep him straight, he keeps me straight. For me, it has to be number one, engaging, It has to really, has to have a really good, engaging story, and good characters. But the overall thing for me is, I spent an hour, 2 hours on this movie. I invested with this particular character. I want to be able to see him succeed at the end and not, die or.
And you want to see them grow old and have kids and
Yeah, that too.
grandkids and repopulate the earth.
Now, his opinion is a little different.
I'm more detached on the characters, but again, it has to be brainy for me. Like I've grown apart from stupid funny comedies, for example. Like I've grown apart from them. Like it doesn't keep me engaged. So it has to be something that keeps you thinking and it keeps you kind of feeling anticipating on what's going on, being good or bad. You know,
Yeah. So do you like musicals at all? Like
I
watch
do.
musicals?
I do. Yeah, I do.
We do actually. We both love Chicago. And I had to make him
Yes.
watch Les Miserables. He hasn't watched it yet, but
Yes.
it's fantastic.
I would have to say I'm sorry.
Wait, the old one, like the 25-year anniversary edition, was
Oh no, I'm
phenomenal.
talking about the one with Annie Hathaway, Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I just
I was
watched
a
that
little
recently.
disappointed in Hugh Jackman's performance, but Anne Hathaway just stole the show.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, he at least tried. Like you could tell he was trying, but
Well, they all
unlike
do.
what's his name? John Valjean.
John Bill John.
Yeah, he was like that. What the hell's his name? The actor.
Russell
Hugh
Crowe.
Jackman.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, he was
Like
Oh,
even though he was
horrible.
trying, that dude was so flat. I was like listening to him sing. I'm like,
It's horrible.
Yeah, that's the one that I feel like he tried hard. He tried hard. He A for effort, you know.
Yeah.
Not even an A.
At
It was
least Hugh
terrible.
Jackman is a music guy. Like he's a stage guy.
Is he?
Yes.
You know, the
Yeah.
thing is, they gave him all
That's how
the
he started.
ability to like make the role their own. Like, they can sing the songs not how they were written, but they can like adjust it a little bit and how they interpreted the music. And why
Then
you
maybe
gonna
that
mess
was the
with a good
director and the
thing?
writers then that kind of kept it like play it straight.
Hmm.
Like because it's
Yeah.
such a legendary thing, it'd be like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like maybe in some context they came out with a redo of that movie. People would be like, "Well, I want you to play that straight. I want you to do it beat by beat the same way. I don't want you playing,
Yeah.
adding new things and flourishes. Don't mess with what's not broken. And sometimes
No.
that's what breaks it."
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about remakes for some of your favorite movies? Is it hard to watch them?
It's a scary thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like for example, I really I want so bad a Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
I
with
want it so
what's his
bad.
name? The guy's playing him now. He was Harold and Kumar.
Yeah. But I'm so
That's a
afraid.
weird one.
I'm so afraid.
I feel excited about the live animated version that is coming up on Netflix. That they're holding back. So far, the actors and actresses that I'm seeing,
John Cho.
they look promising, and I like all the adaptations. But it's not the same looking at the action going down that a couple of pictures of somebody that might look like a representation, So
we discussed this in the episode on Gattaca. Sometimes you have that perfect chemistry. You have the right people at the right place.
Yeah.
And that can't. I mean, the director of Gattaca said he will not make it a part 2 because he doesn't know he can make that
same formula
again.
Wow.
So Cowboy Bebop is such a classic, iconic anime that it's scary. Are they going to be able to duplicate that? It's easier on anime format, but now that we're going into the live action, will they be able to make it?
That's hard. That'd be like trying to recast, Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny of X-Files. You know what I mean? Like Jesus, they've talked about that in the past. I'm like, I don't know how you would do that. It's so iconic.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
It's
unless
true.
you started from just a
It's
whole
a hard
new thing
task.
altogether.
It's a hard task, and not always it works well. That's for sure, and you can see it throughout repetition of remakes. It doesn't always comes as good.
Oh, we can talk about Galactica. I don't know if you ever watched the 1980s version,
No.
but if you ever, I strongly
I've seen
recommend it.
pieces of it. Yeah.
I strongly recommend it. the original and the remake are completely different. I mean, they're
Mhm.
talk about the same topics and stuff like that. But I kind of like, it's kind of like the Sabrina thing. I mean, we discussed this.
Oh yeah, Teenage Witch. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
refuse to watch the Sabrina Netflix version. It's an ethical thing
Dude, my
right
wife
now
absolutely
No,
adores
it
that.
was so good to begin with.
She adores
because
it.
because I seen the original Sabrina, and I want to keep that memory of Sabrina being, the colorful, bright, show that it
If you
was.
think about it, I don't know if you watch any of it, but the whole social ethics of how society worked back then and it works now changes completely the intricacies of each character
Yeah, no,
on the show.
yeah,
So at the end of the day, at least my perception of Sabrina was that it kind of it's different show really.
yeah. It's definitely a
Well, they
different show.
changed. They based it a lot of it on the comics, as far as like through a certain period, they did a stint, an arc where it was very dark. Like they made a
Mhm.
very more of a modernized ideal of
Yeah.
that. But she's still just as cheerful in a way. So she's kind of like that little beacon of light in the middle of this super dark, witchery, satanic type of stuff. So even when she's evil or whatever, for whatever stint of the story, it's still bright. Like it's still like the personality going there. I think that's one thing I will say. At least to watch a clip of it is that girl who plays her definitely fits the upbeat, happy, very like very very positive type of feel like Melissa Joan Hart did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
She was
that's
Very-
so
true.
good.
A lot of energy.
A family show turned into like something super scary.
A
Oh
touch of darkness.
It's really good, and I don't like horror movies. I thought it was really good. I
I
fell off, but
I can't watch it. It's too
It's your
scary
fault.
for me. So have you seen the new the live action Mulan yet, or the Beauty and the Beast live action?
the Beauty and the Beast I seen. Mulan I have not yet.
Me neither.
I'm planning to watch it. Um, uh, I was pla the Beauty and the Beast. Have you seen it?
The one with
Emma
Emma
Watson.
Emma Watson,
Emma
right?
Watson. Yep.
Yeah, I think that they did a good job.
I
I
think that they
have
get
to
it.
say it, and I'm a Disney fan too, so I like most of Disney classics,
Mhm.
all of them.
Yeah.
So I think that they did a great job. I must say, and I mean Emma Watson is a fantastic actress.
Yes.
Like even when the movie's bad, she does a good role. Like I don't know if you've seen the Circle, I think, or something like that. It's like a secret society that she made. Like they living in the future. The movie was not really
heard
good.
of it.
Yeah, the movie's not really good, but she did a great role in the movie. So it's a
Okay.
movie that you watch it once and it's okay.
Oh no. So you do your shows based off of like rewatchability and the ability to chat about it and get something out of a movie.
Yeah, basically, that's basically what we do. We number one, we had to really like it within the sci-fi genre, and and it has to it has to be a conversation starter for us.
It has to be a thought provoking movie most
Yes,
of the
like
time.
I don't know if you ever listened to our show Arrival, on the Arrival movie.
Not yet.
I haven't. I love that movie though. I do enjoy that
Oh,
movie quite a
we
bit.
just talked for what, over an hour and 15 minutes about it.
We were
So good.
I think that's the deepest conversation that we have ever had on
Yeah,
a podcast.
Yeah, the movie will definitely invoke it
Wow.
with the right people. There's no question there. Jesus.
I had to watch it maybe like 3 times before we
Yes,
recorded. Actually,
yes.
that's how much it got me thinking.
It felt like a
You need to write
Nolan
down your
movie.
notes.
Nolan had more depth to me, like more personal depth and more like layers of as far as like the psyche, as far as emotion, as far as people connectivity and all that. Like I was like Inception. I'm like Inception always feels like it's smarter for the sake of trying to be smart. Like it's not really. There's not really more going on. It's just like here It's like Donnie Darko. You ever seen that movie?
Oh yes, and
It's super intelligent. It's super deep, and it's like it's
Eh,
really not.
he doesn't know it's on the list.
Yeah,
It's a good movie for what it is, but the guy who did it, who created it, Duff, he's not an overly bright guy. He had no idea what he was doing. He just thought of a really cool idea and just started adding crap as it went. And he's just really good at putting things together. and it's like improv almost. It's like
Yeah.
scatterbrain mess, and it's like it becomes like an idiot savant all of a sudden for no reason.
When
Yeah.
you watch it, you'll know. That's the feeling you get when you watch the movie.
Now I want to have to watch it. And it's funny that you mentioned about Inception, that exact same thing, because we were talking about it. That's one of the movies that we want to make an episode. It's Inception and Interstellar. We want to make it. We just haven't done it yet. But like,
Inception,
for example,
Inception's fun to watch. It's just it depends on how far you want to go with it, and
Maybe you
like
guys can explain it better for
oh
episode
yeah,
40.
no, we have so much like we have
it's a
so
lot.
much to talk about it.
That's a 7 hour. It's a 7 hour movie right there.
Yeah.
That one in what's the other one? Not Tenet, Interstellar.
Yeah.
Interstellar is one that just the ending will keep us talking for 3
That
hours.
movie is great. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Hard to rewatch that movie too many times, but it's such a good film.
How do
Oh
you
my
guys
God.
plan your episodes? Like, you just pick out movies and how you feel that night. You're gonna watch a certain movie and then record about it, or do you plan episodes out in advance?
Well, it's kind of interesting because since he hasn't, like he mentioned at the beginning of the show, is that he just got introduced to the sci-fi genre by me. So basically, the way that we decide this is there's a couple of movies that come to mind, and I bring it to his attention. It's like, you should really watch this because of this or that. And as we watch the movie, I kind of gauge our conversation level, and based on what his opinion is. Number one, we can't be saying anything negative because we're trying to keep negativity out of the podcast.
Yes.
So
It's a happy place here.
it's a happy place.
Okay. We need that.
So if there's no negative comments, although we have to have some, but overall, like for example, a time machine, and our engagement is good, and he likes it, because that's the thing is we have to both. I can't all be passionate about it. We have to be passionate together, and then that's how we know. Okay, we're doing an episode on this.
But we don't script up what we're gonna talk about or anything. Like we have our own thoughts, and it's just a real conversation we're having over the mic about what we think about the movie.
Yeah,
There's nothing that we actually script up for the episode before recording it.
I do some
Wow.
research on the movie prior to recording, but
Yeah, like Office Box.
yes, but it's not. Most of the stuff doesn't even get into the show. I just have it there, and it's kind of like we get into this zone and we start talking, and I forget my notes.
That's good because that's rare. That does not happen very often. Because you can
That's what
certainly
makes it
hear it in a lot of
good.
podcasts.
Oh man,
like a lot of
it's just-
surface level.
It's just that intensity that comes after the third, fourth beer when you're having a conversation. It just comes naturally.
The second
Right?
glass of
Just-
whiskey.
I was gonna say that sounds like a third, fourth joint situation. Just the cruising conversation forever.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I like how you guys start your episode with like the intro, because it's not like too much in your face and then like two people talking. So it kind of flows really nicely. How did you guys come up with the intro music?
Well, the intro music, and we're still working on that because I'm still trying to get someone who wants to do the music for credit, because obviously we're brand new. We don't have the budget for it yet, but mainly we're not doing it for the budget. We're doing it because we enjoy what we do. So we're still working on who wants to do the music. Right now, what we're doing is we use Anchor. So I actually pick one of their songs, and then I put that behind our intro. And I really thought about how I did the beginning of the episode, because and based on my own experience, when I listen to a podcast, sometimes you're listening to on a radio. I mean, on your car on the radio, and some of those, I don't know if you experience it. Some of those has really long intros, and you're trying to skip because maybe you forgot where you left off, and maybe this is the episode 2 and you're in episode 5. So it was really annoying for me to have to wait. Okay, what season? What episode number was this? So what I planned is I plan to put all that stuff at the beginning really short, so you can skip. You can forward and know exactly where you're at before you can skip to the next episode.
We don't want to get the listeners tired about the show getting started, So we try to
Yeah.
do it as short as possible till we get to the main segment where we're having the conversation.
Sometimes we
Sounds
do it
good.
so fast, I have to like re-record because
No, I think it's perfect. It flowed nicely, and like I just got into the episode quickly because it was easy to do. So I appreciate that.
Let's see here. I got a question. Well, this is probably more for Robert, but because you guys, since you're the reader and stuff, I'm not necessarily a sci-fi reader, but this was we have a upcoming series, probably not coming out for another year now because of this whole delay. But Dune. So, what do you think about the idea? I know. Like, I have friends who have been reading it forever, over and over again. I got into that series actually from the sci-fi series, miniseries in 2000, and then the sequel, Children of Dune. So I've always followed it online, the stories and stuff through Wiki, because I'm not much of a reader. So then that's very Game of Thrones-y type of reading. It's real hardcore. So what do you think about the idea of this as far as a movie series, and also supposed to be a spin-off TV series as well, I guess, on streaming?
this and I'm sure
This is kind of the holy grail,
yeah.
Unless you're not talking about the Doom movie where Dwayne Johnson is, I don't know what
No,
you're
no,
talking
no.
about.
Are you talking
No,
about
no,
the
no.
Mummy Returns?
No, there's a
Or
Dune
Scorpion?
based on a video game.
Yeah, that's the Doom I know.
Yeah, no. This one, and this is a crime that I have to fix because he hasn't seen the original, Doom. So I'll fix it pretty soon. We'll probably do an episode on it.
It's a feat to watch, especially if you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
But all I can tell, and I guess I can tell Giancarlo this is, it's kind of like what we wanted from John Carter.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
we
good.
discussed that we wanted an episode, a TV show.
Oh.
So they actually grabbed a movie, one of my all-time iconic sci-fi movies,
Felt like
and they're
this was
making
gonna
it a TV show.
Nice.
So yes, I can't wait. I'm a little nervous because as you know, you don't know what to expect. I hope they do justice to not
It helps
only-
who's doing it too.
Yes.
Oh Jesus! At least visually, Jesus, that's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
But story, there's so much story.
fill.
There's so many layers. There's so many books. There's so
much spice.
it's crazy. Like I said, like, it's like Game of Thrones. Like times 10. It's just there's so much going on in that. Especially, I said, me as a kid, early 2000s teen at that point, watching the sci-fi miniseries back when Sci-Fi Channel used to make all those great miniseries.
Yes.
And it's still, I have friends who'll pick those movies apart naturally, the miniseries, but as a good intro into those, they're actually still pretty good for the budget that they had. I mean, they got a bunch of it in there. Obviously, they can't get as in depth as some of those is a proper series is going to get into, especially these days. But for what it is,
Now I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, believe me, it's one of those movies that is just gonna leave you like wanting a lot more. It's just
I like the sound of that.
and there's a lot of it. There's a lot out there between him and Herbert and his son.
Yep.
Well, don't think about it, because you know that I can binge watch and eat a show real quick too.
Oh, I got him started in The Expanse.
Nice.
After we watched the first.
Oh my god.
I have to continue that ever since Sci-Fi had canceled. I got to go back, and now they have Prime, I got to continue that. That's that sci-fi. I love that in-depth sci-fi.
Now get this. You guys watch The Mandalorian?
Yeah, of course. Waiting for the new one.
Yeah.
You know how long it took me to actually eat the whole show? 2 days.
Okay.
37 seconds.
2 days.
Oh my god.
I ate it up.
Binge watched
I
that.
blew through it through the first night. I watched the whole damn thing.
Oh my God.
And I don't do that
started
very
late at
often.
night, and I just started the first episode, and then ever since then, I have a 6-year-old, and if I'm done talking, I have spoken, and then that's all I needed from that show.
It's a
My new
brilliant
line.
show. It's so damn good.
Well, if you have a 6-year-old and you want to enjoy a good show with him, watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I have to
Mhm.
make you watch, because you haven't watched it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, There's
and I
the
love it.
movie and then the episodes on Netflix. Have you seen those too?
The episodes on Netflix is what I'm crazy about. I
Cora.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna trash talk the movie. It's okay. From 1 to 10,
I like the movie.
yeah, he did.
Well, because you never,
Yeah.
if you saw the cartoon first and you'd be like, wow, this is like, like the old like Dune movie versus like what they could do now. It's just like the stark difference. You're like, wow, that really is ooh, that contrast is
Chris
scary.
gets me.
I get a lot of hate because of that.
No, it's like
Oh,
one of
he
those
gets a lot
things.
of hate because he liked the Dragon Ball movie, but he never watched
Ooh.
Dragon Ball. He never watched Dragon Ball.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah,
But in my defense, I watched Naruto, so I guess
Yeah,
I'm
my kid
vindicated.
is getting into those movies, and we've been watching The Last Airbender, and there are so many episodes. Mom, can we watch another one? Sure. Yeah,
I blow right through it. Like
I'm really into it right now, so.
I gotta go watch Korra.
I'll watch
Actually, I started it, and then the first episode, the first 10 minutes, I realized what had happened and how much time is taking place between the two shows, and I'm like, I might cry. I didn't realize it was that much like generational. Like, oh, I thought it was like a grant. Oh man. So now I like kind of go through it, and I'm like, I'm not like that too. I'm not too attached to characters as that much, like especially cartoons. But that one, like that bummed me out because Aang in that show is everything.
It was a perfect mixture of action, comedy, story content.
Think of like the perfect
Yeah,
combination of
good
American, Western, and Eastern cartoon.
Yep,
It really was, and that's never happened.
agreed.
I mean, there was Sailor Moon, and that was really good. So.
Sailor Moon was good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was definitely
liked
its
it.
I grew up
demographic.
on that.
But that was
Is it
anime, though.
demographic, or is it like great?
But that's a very anime, that's still anime though that just happened to come here. Like Dragon Ball Z, look how huge that's always been in America, and that's been around forever.
Yeah, I used to watch it growing up in Japan. We'd watch Dragon Ball Z and all these movies like Sailor Moon shows.
I used to have all the VHS tape box sets, and I used to,
Oh, nice.
I watch it first thing before school in the morning, and all out of order.
5:30.
Now, I'm gonna ask you, Bree, if you like Sailor Moon, have you ever watched Bubblegum Crisis?
Oh my God, yes.
There you
No,
go.
how do you-
Oh my God, girl, you gotta watch that. You're gonna
I'm
go
gonna write that
crazy.
down.
That's way.
You're
I
talking
like,
about
I like it better, man.
1995?
Yeah, I like it better.
Crisis.
No, 1993. It's a 1993 anime about girls in armor suits like Iron Man
Yes.
fighting crime and like
God.
virus robots in the future city in Tokyo. It's so cool and they're so sexy fighting. Like it's like
Right?
wow,
They're
nice.
so strong.
It's really good. Yeah, I
And,
forgot
like,
about that.
No, and each of the girls in the show they have a different personality, and they
Yeah.
all work together. So it's fun to watch.
Like real life people and having like
Yep.
your issues, but still, mangle, kick butt, repeat.
Yeah, no, it's exactly like that. Like you got the badass one that is a rock star and she sings
That's
in
me.
bars at night. You got
It's
the
very
office
90s.
girl, you got
Yeah.
the
Very
IT
90s.
girl,
Yeah.
all sorts. You have the super corp rich girl too that is the boss of all of them. So like you guys gonna like it. Well, Chris said that you've watched it, right?
Have you watched?
Yeah, I have. Yes. I don't. It's been a long time, but yeah, I definitely have.
You probably watching when Funimation was Locomotion.
Yep. 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 Absolutely.
How do you
I remember
guys
those-
watch most of your movies? Like, do you buy them? Do you stream them?
It's a combination. Most of those movies I already have bought. If they're sci-fi, there's a big chance I already have them, especially if I love the movies. But like for example, Inception is one of those movies we haven't done anything yet because it's not
We
in
haven't bought it
streaming.
yet and it's not streaming.
And
Yeah,
I
that's
have-
enough. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a combination, streaming and purchased.
Mhm.
But I think I have over 600.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
between Voodoo and Apple purchases, you have
Mhm.
over 600 movies.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, these days physical. Only time I physically get because of my kid
Oh,
mainly.
it has boxes of it. Of CDs too.
Ah.
DVDs.
My husband's name is Robert too, so it must be
I
a
just sold a
Robert
ton.
thing. We have so many boxes full of like steelbooks, DVDs, and even if we have the movie on Blu-ray, but if it's on steelbook, we need to get that one too, apparently.
Oh yeah, he's one of those. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I'm
he
like that
is.
with vinyl records. It's fine.
Yeah.
Listen, I have the movie Hackers on pretty
Oh,
much every format, including I have a Laserdisc signed by three of the cast members.
wow.
Oh,
It's
that's
in a
nice.
box somewhere now.
I couldn't tell you the last time I seen a Laserdisc. It's been a while.
I don't think I've only ever seen one movie my entire life on Laserdisc, and it was T2 and T1. Actually, both of them because my father was obsessed with it. Walls of them wouldn't let you touch any of the damn things. But when in the middle of the night he passed out, I got out of the bedroom at that night because I stayed over and I saw him watching on those big old projection TVs, and he was watching. I watched them both with the director cuts and everything else. Where you had to flip him over and he pulled it on and looked like a pizza pan.
I was just telling him that it's so huge, and you had to still flip him over.
It's bigger than a record.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I've
Let
ever
me
seen
guess.
them
The first time that
before.
you were able to touch and you just went and rubbed your hands all over them.
In trouble.
I remember very fondly that my friend went to the army, and his stepfather was an old military, complete stunt SOB, and nasty mean dude. Like, you didn't touch his stuff. This is my stuff. I remember the last time I went in that house, I went in and I walked out with four of his laser discs, and just kept going, didn't turn back, never saw them again. One of those suckers, and that was one of them was Hackers, which I got signed. And I held to this day just as a memory.
Nice.
I really like that movie, Hackers. I don't know if you ever seen it.
No, I think,
dude, it's so much fun.
I think I've seen trailers because you were talking to me about it.
Mhm.
I don't remember watching
It's
it.
every bit of a 90s hacker, it's like computer generation. We get the big old laptops and everybody's spray painting camouflage on them, and everybody's got cool short avatar names. And
Is
know,
it the movie that
Zero
Matt Damon
Cool.
was looking like a baby on it?
No.
Or
No.
DiCaprio?
No.
No, this is Angelina Jolie. This has Matthew Lillard. This has Jesus.
In the movie, it's not like it's very accurate.
It's like the government is
wrong.
asking you to do something, right?
No.
That's not the one that
no.
Okay.
It's
I haven't watched it.
but it's so
It's
wholesome.
freaking
It's so
great.
like, I don't care that none of the stuff is accurate, or I look at it as
Back then, though, it felt like it.
Right, before we knew better.
Everybody was like, I had friends who used to do that. Used to do the stencils on their laptops. Everybody had cool handle names for IRC and all the crazy forums. And
I still kept my handle.
yeah, see, there you go.
I kept my handle for 1986, Candela.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
I got one of my emails still like that. Yeah, from AIM actually.
Wow.
But yeah, it's just one of those things that never really got old. Even no matter how dated all that stuff has gotten, it's still fun as hell. And the soundtrack's great, so you still kind of drive with it because it's got that kind of almost ravery type of music in that way, like the Chemical Brothers type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's great.
So it doesn't bother you guys when a movie's not accurate, like with the details and everything? Or
Well, you can see it a lot more from him on the show.
just analyze it.
He gets
Sci-fi's
really
a little bit harder.
He gets a little passionate when I can overlook a couple of things.
Yeah. You
But,
can overlook too much.
he doesn't let anything pass. So that's why we keep each other in check.
But why is there sound of the explosions in space?
We were watching 2001, and he was already complaining about how they were walking on the moon.
Gravity.
Okay, we get
Everybody's
along
like
with
in
that
Earth.
then.
And I agree, but it's like, okay,
It's like watching Star Wars and complaining about any little detail.
I can be very picky sometimes.
Or Star Trek, even. Jesus.
yeah. But I do like that, and that's the reason I think why our chemistry works, because of how we, how I am like that and how he is like that, and we have those conversations.
It's nice. You get different opinions and the devil's advocate and, both sides, and you relate to different viewers too. So that's good. It's a good combination. I like that.
Now I can tell you, and this just came to mind. One of the episodes that we did, where I geeked out the most is, I don't know if you ever read this book called Robot Girlfriend.
No, I know of it.
It's one of my favorite books. I actually read, so far I'm on book 4, I believe, and I already bought book 5. So what happened is I actually reached out to the author.
Oh,
And I was like, you know what, we're new. I'm a nobody. So what's the worst that's going to happen? He's going to ignore my email. I can move on and whatever. So I said, we're planning on doing an episode on your first book. If you're interested, here's our link. Listen to our podcast. If you like what we do, maybe reach out and see, maybe you can, we can sit down and talk. Just so you know, we're casual conversation. We're not really going to like, it's not going to be an interview. It's just basically us and him talking about his book.
Hmm.
And then we bounce our ideas and stuff like that. And I was like, okay,
He just threw that
I
in
just
there.
threw that
throw it
there
out into the ether and see what happens. Yeah,
and
whatever.
forgot about it. And the next day, I almost jumped for joy. He responded, "It's like,
Oh my gosh.
yes, I. By the way, I like your show. So I like to think
Yes.
he's a, he did say he
He's a sci-fi lover too.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yes, Star Trek. So he likes our show, and he said, "Yeah, why not?" And so that's why we have the episode on Robot Girlfriend is with the
Awesome.
actual author.
Oh my
And I was geeking out because it's one of my favorite books, and I was just talking to the author.
Oh my
Authors can be pretty
gosh.
good too, depending on how crazy. Like,
That's
I
fun.
always tell people sometimes authors can be the best or the worst people in the world to get a hold of. Because, like I said, I've used to work and help out other podcasts, and they'd want to get some people, and some of them are completely just pretentious as hell, and they just completely shut you out, and that's it. And then you have people like I used to joke and say with the author Joe Hill, Stephen King's son.
Mm.
And it's funny because I saw him, randomly one thing doing a signing or something, and I did it. And then the next day I saw another story of someone else, and I saw him in my local grocery store buying nacho chips. And he lived right in my, I had no idea. He lived right in my hometown, which is the next town from where I live now. Just something just so casually and mundane. And, he's not the most, guy. He's not really that type of guy you'd walk up to. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He's very kind of to himself, but the idea that you could totally makes you feel a little more humble to know that you can just, he's just a dude. All these,
Yeah.
Me and Giancarlo was really nervous. I mean, when we talked to
Yeah.
Wesley Allison,
Yeah.
he's just so down to earth and easy to talk to. It was just
It's
like,
good.
wow. I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah,
It's
it
good.
was lots of fun, and like we just making questions about his writing process, like his career as a writer.
Because I'm in the
his
process of writing a book for like 10 years now.
Yeah,
So it's my perfect opportunity to talk to him and see, okay, what his process was. So
Sure.
Yeah.
I kind of got
admire
inspired to start
that.
writing my book again.
Congratulations. That's so nice.
Thank
I
you.
am I started off like I quit my law office job, like running an office, and I started doing typing for people because I type 141 words a minute on a good day. And so I got to meet a lot of authors and I just type for them. And everyone that I've typed for is just so nice and down to earth. And they're open, like, well, what do you think about this? And I'm like, I'm not really an editor. I just kind of just type what you write and like we go from there. But my experience with authors are just wonderful.
It's
And you
good.
just write what you have. And then all the edits come later. You just throw everything out there. And one lady I worked with had been working on a book for over a decade. So
Wow.
congratulations. That's a lot of work.
Once you get the first one out there, too, people say, then get that out in the ether and let it exist out in the world. Then from there things usually start
Or it's
happening.
harder because you have all these expectations, like, oh, this is a really good book. I gotta like, more stress on yourself.
And
So,
one of my biggest problems is I'm a perfectionist. So when I
Yes.
write and then I reread the sentence, I want to correct the sentence. And one of the things that he told me was like, don't do that.
nope.
Just write. You can go back later and do that. Because otherwise
Yes.
you'll never get the
It's a
story.
mark of an artist, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like some people will be like, well, I think I need to redo this. It's usually the time to let it move it on.
Yeah, just get
You
it
know,
all out there
throw
first,
it out there, and
then that
someone will
comes
tell you if
later.
it needs to be fixed or if or whatever. Like an editor, they'll be the ones telling you that, okay, maybe you need to tweak this a little bit or this.
Yeah,
Let
but it's
them
so
do.
intimate. Like that's your work. That's like your life's work going into paper, and you're letting someone first of all read it and then edit it. That's you gotta have some tough skin for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm excited. Get it done so I can read it. Is it a
Thank you.
sci-fi book? You don't have to tell us
Oh,
what it is.
Yes,
yes, it's
that
exactly.
definitely
Okay.
is.
And the cool thing is, like when I was, this is how old this is. Okay, well, I had the draft. I can't remember how much of the draft I had done, and I was in English class on my when I was in the university, and I give it to my English professor to read, and I was so nervous because like you said, it's your hard work.
Mhm.
You want to
Yeah.
take the input, but you kind of feel, you still feel. And
Yeah.
I remember one day she's like, Robert, you stay. Everybody can go. You stay behind.
Oh
And
no.
I was thinking, like, typically when they do that, you're like,
You're in
okay, did I do
trouble.
Trouble.
something wrong? It's like, no, 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 no. It's about your book. It's like, and I said, yeah. What do you think? And she said, well, I never seen fantasy and sci-fi mixed together. And back in the day, I don't know now. I think maybe
Yeah, now there's definitely a lot of that blending in
yeah.
different
Yeah.
degrees.
So she said, there's only one bad thing about it. And my heart rate started going up. And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, the bad thing is like, I'm going to have to write your name down and wait until you release it because I want to know what happened next. So I
Oh.
was like, oh, thank
Oh my
God.
gosh. That kind of feedback just like fuels you to like do more.
And I think Giancarlo's was
That's
actually
great though.
listening to a couple. So he can give you a little comments on that because he had actually read what I have so far.
All right. I mean, I really love it, and that's true. What he says, he's a perfectionist. The other day, he was showing it to a friend of mine, and he was reading it to him, and I'm like, wait a second, that you're reading right now is past what I finished that you have written already.
So
You
he's
just
getting new
went back.
content. He's getting new content. It's like, well, when did you add that?
And then he's just like confessing that, yeah, I went back and I kind of added more in between.
I was gonna say at this point, I mean, jokingly, like you could be like the Green Mile for Stephen King and drop volume novellas or something. You know what I mean? That way you can keep thinking about it and doing it as you go.
Yeah.
You know, the
All the
small
characters.
books.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that could be a good idea. But I gotta tell you, like so far, like I'm dying for the book to be finished. I think that he's done a great job creating the characters, creating a great relationship in between them, giving them a wonderful background to each of them too. So it kind of gives you a good picture of what's everybody's motivation in the storyline that he's portraying on the book. And the universe that he's painting too is just fantastic. And I can tell you, I haven't read or watched something like that before. There's elements of all the things that you've seen, but it's not the same. Like I haven't seen anything like that, so I'm dying for him to finish it.
Me too. Get on it, Robert.
Yeah.
Hurry.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll push it to make a sampler or something to tease
Oh
people up.
yeah, just like
You could do an
a
episode.
blurb about it.
You could do an episode of that.
Oh, we're definitely gonna do it as soon as he
Okay.
publishes that book. There's an episode going on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Heck
that's
yeah!
so cool. Oh, thank you so much for coming on our show and reaching out to us on Twitter. This is like exactly what we look for Let's Chat Live is chatting with people that need to be seen, need to be listened to, and kind of interview, but mostly like converse with them. So like you guys are real people, you have an interest in what you do, and that's what makes a good show. So
Definitely.
how
Thank
about
you.
tell everyone where they can reach you and find you on the internets.
Well,
Awesome.
I think the easiest way would be through Twitter.
Yeah.
Because we do have a website. We have a solo that two account too, but Twitter is Sci-Fi Remnant on Twitter, and you can reach out to us. I mean, we in every episode we even have a Discord where we tell everybody, you're welcome to join the conversation. Just ask us questions, and suggest an episode. Like one of the episodes that I got through suggestions, and this came through Instagram, was for Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And that was a suggestion from a listener.
That could be good for both of them, both the movies. Actually, you could do a two-part on that one.
I had to watch the second one because I had not
I haven't
watched the
seen
first
it.
one
Yeah.
before even we got the suggestion. But the fun thing about our podcast too is that we're easy to reach out on any platform. So we're in Apple Podcasts, we're in Spotify, we got in Pandora too now. We're in iHeartRadio. We are in
We're everywhere basically. The only thing that we're waiting for right now is Audible.
yeah.
But yeah, we're pretty much everywhere.
Wow, for just starting out.
So
Congratulations, you guys. It's a lot of
thank
work.
you so much.
Thank you.
So like
Absolutely.
anybody can listen to us from anywhere, really.
And we find it, I think my challenge, because I do the social media, he's kind of helping me out. One of the challenges is we're such a niche um,
Hmm.
podcast, that it's kind of hard to find that
I,
audience.
I'll tell you one thing about that as someone who has a friends up in upstate New York that deal in a show of paranormal, cryptozoology, all kinds of weird and like folklore type of stuff and all that. They have such a niche, but they have such a tight community for what they are. Like I always say on these shows, I'm like, you could have 1 million people and that's fine listening to you, but then realistically, it's that core 50 or 100 that are going to matter because they're the ones that are going to follow you. They're going to buy your shirts. They're going to listen to every word. They're gonna be paying to support. They're going to do anything you need,
Yeah.
as long as they they feel connected.
Yeah, so yeah, it's and like I repeated again. I mean, we're doing it for the passion that we have about the conversations that we have on this
Hmm.
on whatever media we're watching, and I just my goal is that I can reach out to everybody that has the same taste for sci-fi as I do, and just go out and listen to us and see what you think.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much for being part of Let's Chat Live. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Thank you for
so much.
having us.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Have a good
You
night.
Good
too.
night.
Stay well. Thank you again.